In the spring of 2009, a Swedish programmer named Markus Persson was working at a small game development company called King, which would later become famous for Candy Crush Saga. But Markus, who went by the online handle Notch, had bigger dreams. He spent his evenings experimenting with simple game ideas, posting his creations to forums, and sharing them with other indie developers. Little did he know that one of his weekend projects would become the best-selling video game of all time. The story of Minecraft begins not with grand ambitions or corporate boardrooms, but with a simple desire to create something fun. It's a tale that spans over a decade, involving creative breakthroughs, community building, legal battles, and ultimately, a transformation from bedroom project to global phenomenon worth billions of dollars. On May 10th, 2009, Markus Persson made his first public post about a game he was calling Cave Game. The concept was deceptively simple. Players would dig through landscapes made of blocks, collecting materials, and building structures. This wasn't an entirely original idea. Markus had been inspired by a game called Infiniminer, created by developer Zach Barth. Infiniminer was a competitive multiplayer game where teams of players would dig through blocky terrain searching for valuable ores. Players could place and destroy blocks, creating tunnels and fortifications. The game had a distinctive visual style, with landscapes made entirely of colored cubes. However, Infiniminer had a problem. It was plagued by cheaters and hackers, and Zach Barth eventually abandoned the project. Markus saw potential in the basic concept, but wanted to take it in a different direction. Instead of focusing on competition between players, he envisioned a more peaceful, creative experience. Players would explore vast worlds, gathering resources, and building whatever their imagination could conceive. The emphasis would be on creation rather than destruction, on cooperation rather than competition. The earliest version of Cave Game was incredibly basic. Players spawned in a flat world using their mouse, but there were no tools, no inventory system, and no real objectives. It was more of a proof of concept than a proper game. Yet even in this primitive state, something magical was happening. Players who tried the early prototype found themselves spending hours building simple structures, experimenting with different block arrangements, and exploring the possibilities of this new medium. Markus continued to develop the game in his spare time, adding new features and improvements based on feedback from the small but growing community of players. He renamed the project from Cave Game to Minecraft, combining the words mine and craft to reflect the game's core mechanics of extracting resources and building with them. The name change wasn't just cosmetic. It represented a shift in vision. Minecraft would be about more than just digging caves. It would be about transforming the world around you, taking raw materials and crafting them into something beautiful or functional. This concept of transformation would become central to everything that followed. By May 17, 2009, just 1 week after his initial post, Markus had created what would become known as Minecraft Classic. This version introduced several key features that would define the game's identity. Most importantly, it added a creative mode where players had unlimited blocks and could fly around the world, making it easy to build large, impressive structures. Minecraft Classic was distributed as a free web browser game, making it accessible to anyone with an internet connection. This decision would prove crucial to the game's early success. Unlike traditional video games that required installation, and often cost money upfront, Minecraft Classic could be played instantly by anyone who discovered it. Players could share links with friends, who could immediately jump in and start building together. The browser-based nature of the game also made it perfect for schools and offices, where installing software was often restricted. Students would pass around the URL during computer classes, and office workers would sneak in a few minutes of building during their lunch breaks. This viral spread was entirely organic. Markus didn't have a marketing budget or a PR team. The game was spreading purely through word of mouth. During this period, Markus was still working his day job at King, developing Minecraft in his evenings and weekends. He was active on forums and social media, sharing updates about new features and listening to player feedback. This direct connection between developer and community would become one of Minecraft's defining characteristics. The classic version introduced the concept of different block types, each with its own properties and appearance. Stone blocks were gray and sturdy. Dirt blocks were brown and could be dug up easily. And wood blocks had a distinctive grain pattern. Water and lava were added as flowing liquids that players could manipulate to create fountains, moats, and other features. One of the most significant additions during the Classic era was multiplayer support. Players could join servers hosted by other community members, working together to build massive collaborative projects. Some servers became famous for their impressive constructions, entire cities, replica buildings from real life, and fantastical castles that stretched across the horizon. The multiplayer servers also gave birth to Minecraft's first communities. Players would gather regularly on their favorite servers, getting to know each other and working on long-term building projects together. Server administrators became community leaders, setting rules and organizing events. Some servers developed their own cultures and traditions, with regular players becoming local celebrities known for their building skills or helpful attitudes. As 2009 progressed, Minecraft Classic attracted more and more attention. Gaming blogs began writing about this strange new game where the only objective was whatever you decided to build. YouTube videos showcasing impressive Minecraft creations started appearing, introducing the game to an even wider audience. The combination of creative freedom, accessible gameplay, and social interaction was proving to be incredibly appealing. In late 2009, Markus made a decision that would fundamentally change Minecraft's trajectory. He began working on what he called survival mode, a complete reimagining of the game that would add danger, progression, and meaningful choices to the Minecraft experience. The concept was straightforward but revolutionary. Instead of starting with unlimited blocks and the ability to fly, players would spawn in the new world with nothing but their bare hands. They would need to gather resources, craft tools, and build shelter before nightfall brought dangerous monsters that could kill them. This added a sense of urgency and progression that was completely absent from the creative-focused classic version. The first survival test was released in September 2009, and it was a revelation. Players found themselves frantically chopping down trees and digging into hillsides as the sun set, trying to create some kind of shelter before the monsters appeared. The game that had once been a peaceful building exercise was now a race for survival, and players loved the added tension. Survival mode introduced the concept of health and death. Players had a health bar represented by small hearts, and taking damage from monsters, falling, or other hazards would reduce their health. If their health reached 0, they would die and respawn back at their starting location, losing all the items they'd been carrying. This created real stakes for exploring and risk-taking, The crafting system was another crucial addition. Instead of simply placing blocks, players could now combine different materials to create tools, weapons, and other useful items. Wood could be turned into sticks, sticks combined with stone to make pickaxes, and pickaxes used to mine deeper and find more valuable materials. This created a progression system where players started with basic wooden tools and eventually worked their way up to powerful diamond equipment. The day-night cycle became one of Minecraft's most iconic features. During the day, the world was safe and players could explore, gather resources, and build. But as night fell, hostile creatures would spawn in dark areas. Zombies would shamble across forests, skeletons would shoot arrows from a distance, and the dreaded creepers would silently approach before exploding and destroying whatever the player had built. These monsters weren't just obstacles. They became part of Minecraft's mythology. The creeper, in particular, became the game's unofficial mascot. Its distinctive green color and tendency to destroy player creations made it both feared and beloved by the community. The creeper's hissing sound became instantly recognizable, and its face appeared on merchandise, fan art, and memes across the internet. The survival mechanics also introduced the concept of mining as a core gameplay loop. Players would dig deep underground, following veins of valuable ores and creating elaborate tunnel systems. The deeper they went, the more valuable materials they would find, but also the more dangerous it became. Underground cave systems were filled with monsters, and players could easily get lost in the maze-like passages they created. In June 2010, Markus officially launched Minecraft Alpha, making the transition from free web game to paid indie title. This is a significant moment for both Markus and the Minecraft community. The game was no longer just a hobby project. It was becoming a real business. The alpha version cost $11 or $12 in US dollars, which was considered quite reasonable for an indie game. More importantly, Markus promised that anyone who bought the game during alpha development would receive all future updates for free, including the final version when it was eventually completed. This was an unusual business model that showed Markus's commitment to his early supporters. Alpha introduced many features that would become fundamental to the Minecraft experience. The inventory system was expanded and refined, allowing players to organize their materials and tools more effectively. Chests were added, providing a way to store items safely in player-built structures. The crafting system was expanded with new recipes and more complex multi-step processes. One of the most significant alpha additions was the ability to smelt materials in furnaces. Players could now cook food to restore health, smelt ores into ingots for stronger tools, and create glass from sand. This added another layer to the resource management game, as players needed to gather fuel for their furnaces and plan their smelting operations carefully. The world generation system was completely overhauled during Alpha. Instead of flat worlds or simple landscapes, Minecraft began generating complex terrain with mountains, valleys, caves, and bodies of water. Each world was unique, created using mathematical algorithms that ensured no two players would have exactly the same experience. This procedural generation became one of Minecraft's defining features, creating virtually infinite worlds for players to explore. Biomes were introduced, adding visual and gameplay variety to the world. Players might spawn in a forest filled with trees, a desert covered in sand, or a snowy tundra with frozen lakes. Each biome had its own characteristics, resources, and challenges, encouraging exploration and rewarding players who ventured far from their starting location. The alpha period was also when Minecraft's modding community began to flourish. Creative players figured out how to modify the game's code, adding new features, blocks, and mechanics that weren't in the official version. Some mods became incredibly popular, introducing concepts that would later be incorporated into the base game. The relationship between Mojang and the modding community was collaborative rather than adversarial, with Markus actively encouraging players to experiment and share their creations. During Alpha, Minecraft's popularity exploded beyond all expectations. Gaming journalists who had initially dismissed it as a simple indie game began to take notice as player numbers grew into the hundreds of thousands. The game was generating significant revenue despite still being in development, and Markus found himself at the center of a cultural phenomenon he had never anticipated. October 2010 marked another major milestone with the release of Minecraft Beta. By this point, the game had sold over 800,000 copies, and Markus had quit his day job to focus on Minecraft full-time. He'd also founded a company called Mojang, bringing in additional developers to help with the increasingly complex task of managing and expanding the game. Beta introduced the Nether, Minecraft's version of Hell. This alternate dimension could be accessed through special portals built with obsidian blocks, and it featured a completely different environment with unique blocks, monsters, and challenges. The Nether was filled with lava, fire, and dangerous creatures like zombie pigmen and ghasts, flying monsters that shot explosive fireballs. The Nether served multiple purposes in Minecraft's design. It provided endgame content for players who had mastered the basic survival mechanics. It offered unique materials that couldn't be found in the regular world. And it created a fast travel system since distances in the Nether corresponded to much larger distances in the regular world. Redstone was perhaps Beta's most significant addition. This red dust could be placed like blocks and would carry electrical signals, allowing players to create complex mechanical contraptions. Redstone circuits could power doors, activate traps, control lighting systems, and even create basic computers. The addition of redstone transformed Minecraft from a building game to an engineering sandbox. The complexity of redstone systems amazed even Markus. Players created elaborate contraptions that the original developers had never envisioned. Automatic farms that would harvest crops and replant seeds, hidden doors that would open when players stepped on pressure plates, and even basic calculators built entirely from redstone components. YouTube videos showcasing incredible redstone inventions became a subgenre of Minecraft content. Beta also saw significant improvements to multiplayer functionality. The server software was refined and optimized, allowing for larger numbers of simultaneous players and more stable connections. Plugin systems were developed that allowed server administrators to customize their worlds with additional features and gameplay modifications. As beta progressed, anticipation grew for the game's official release. Markus had announced that Minecraft would have its grand launch at Minecon, a convention dedicated entirely to the game. Minecon 2011, held in Las Vegas, was a surreal experience, a convention for a game that was still technically in development, but which had already captured the imagination of millions of players worldwide. The convention featured presentations from the development team, community showcases, and competitive events. But the main attraction was the official launch of Minecraft 1.0. On November 18, 2011, nearly 2.5 years after the first cave game prototype, Minecraft was officially declared complete. The period following Minecraft's official release saw an unprecedented explosion in community-created content. YouTube channels dedicated to Minecraft content began attracting millions of subscribers, making stars out of players who showcased creative builds, survival adventures, and multiplayer antics. Let's Players, content creators who recorded themselves playing games while providing commentary, found that Minecraft was perfect for their format. The game's open-ended nature meant that every episode could be different, and the building mechanics provided natural goals and progression. Some Minecraft YouTubers became celebrities in their own right, with fan conventions and merchandise deals. The educational potential of Minecraft began to be recognized during this period. Teachers discovered that the game could be used to teach everything from basic mathematics to historical architecture. Students could recreate historical buildings, explore concepts of geometry and physics through redstone contraptions, and collaborate on projects that combined creativity with learning objectives. Minecraft EDU was developed as a special educational version of the game, with tools specifically designed for classroom use. Teachers could control student access to different features, set specific objectives, and even freeze the world to give presentations. The educational version of Minecraft eventually evolved into Minecraft Education Edition, which is now used in schools around the world. The server community continued to grow and diversify. Large network servers began appearing, hosting thousands of simultaneous players across multiple game modes. Some servers recreated popular game formats like Hunger Games or Capture the Flag using Minecraft mechanics. Others focused on role-playing, with players taking on specific characters and storylines within elaborate custom-built worlds. One of the most impressive community achievements was the Recreation Project, where players worked together to rebuild famous locations from movies, books, and real life. The Hogwarts Castle from Harry Potter, the City of King's Landing from Game of Thrones, and even entire countries were painstakingly recreated block by block. These projects often took years to complete and involved dozens of contributors working in coordination. The modding community reached new heights of sophistication. Mods like Industrial Craft added complex machinery and power systems, while others like Biomes O'Plenty expanded the world generation with dozens of new environments. Some mod packs combined hundreds of different modifications into cohesive gameplay experiences that were almost entirely different games. By 2014, Minecraft had become a cultural phenomenon that extended far beyond gaming. However, Markus Persson found himself overwhelmed by the game's success and the expectations that came with it. In a surprising move, he announced that he was looking to sell Mojang and step away from Minecraft development entirely. Microsoft emerged as the winning bidder, purchasing Mojang for $2.5 billion in September 2014. This acquisition was controversial among some community members who worried that Microsoft would change the game's direction or restrict access to certain platforms. However, Microsoft's handling of the franchise has generally been praised for maintaining the game's core identity while expanding its reach. Under Microsoft's ownership, Minecraft has been ported to virtually every gaming platform imaginable. Console versions for Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch brought the game to players who preferred gaming from their couch. Mobile versions for smartphones and tablets made Minecraft accessible to an even broader audience, including many players who have never considered themselves gamers. The technical limitations that had constrained earlier versions of Minecraft were gradually overcome. The Better Together update unified the codebase across different platforms, allowing players on Xbox, mobile, Windows 10, and Nintendo Switch to play together in the same worlds. This cross-platform play was revolutionary at the time and set a standard that other games would later follow. Content updates became larger and more frequent under Microsoft's stewardship. The Aquatic update completely overhauled underwater gameplay, adding new marine life, underwater ruins, and swimming mechanics. The Village and Pillage update redesigned one of the game's oldest features, giving villagers new professions, behaviors, and interactions with players. The Nether update transformed Minecraft's Hell dimension from a relatively simple realm into a complex ecosystem with multiple biomes, new materials, and challenging gameplay mechanics. These updates showed that even after more than a decade of development, Minecraft still had room to grow and evolve. Minecraft's influence extends far beyond the gaming industry. The game's been used for everything from urban planning to therapy, demonstrating the versatility of its creative tools. Architects use Minecraft to create quick prototypes of building designs, allowing clients to walk through and experience spaces before construction begins. Therapists have found that Minecraft can be an effective tool for working with children who have autism or social anxiety. The game's predictable rules and collaborative nature provide a comfortable environment for developing social skills and expressing creativity. Some therapy practices now include dedicated Minecraft sessions as part of their treatment programs. The game has also become a platform for social activism and education. Organizations have created Minecraft worlds to raise awareness about issues like climate change, historical events, and social justice. The ability to create immersive, interactive experiences makes complex topics more accessible and engaging than traditional educational materials. Minecraft's blocky aesthetic has influenced art, fashion, and design beyond the digital realm. The pixelated art style that was initially chosen for practical reasons has become an iconic visual language that appears in everything from architecture to clothing design. The game's influence can be seen in other video games, animated movies, and even fine art installations. The economic impact of Minecraft has been substantial. Beyond the direct sales of the game itself, Minecraft has generated revenue through merchandise, licensing deals, educational programs, and an entire ecosystem of content creators, server hosts, and service providers. Conservative estimates suggest that Minecraft's economy generates billions of dollars annually across all related activities. Perhaps most importantly, Minecraft has demonstrated the power of player creativity and community-driven content. Unlike traditional games that provide a fixed experience created entirely by developers, Minecraft gives players the tools to create their own experiences and share them with others. This approach has influenced game design across the industry, with many modern games incorporating user-generated content and community features as core elements. The game has also shown that commercial success doesn't require cutting-edge graphics or complex gameplay systems. Minecraft's simple, accessible mechanics have proven more enduring than many games with much larger development budgets and more sophisticated technology. This has encouraged other developers to focus on creative gameplay concepts rather than purely technical achievements. As we look at Minecraft today, it's remarkable to consider how far the game has come from Markus Persson's simple cave game prototype. What began as a weekend project has become the best-selling video game of all time, with over 300 million copies sold across all platforms. More importantly, It's maintained an active player base of over 140 million monthly users, demonstrating remarkable longevity in an industry where most games fade into obscurity within a few years. The secret to Minecraft's enduring success lies in its fundamental design philosophy. Rather than providing players with a predetermined experience, Minecraft gives them tools and lets their imagination determine what happens next. This approach ensures that the game remains fresh and engaging even after hundreds of hours of play, because the content is largely created by the players themselves. The game continues to evolve, with regular updates adding new features, mechanics, and content. Recent additions have included archaeology mechanics that let players excavate ancient artifacts, updated world generation that creates more dramatic and varied landscapes, and new creatures that add life and challenge to different biomes. The community around Minecraft shows no signs of slowing down. New YouTube channels dedicated to Minecraft content appear regularly. Server networks continue to innovate with new game modes and experiences, and the modding community continues to push the boundaries of what's possible within the game's framework. Educational applications of Minecraft are expanding as well. Universities now offer courses on game design using Minecraft as a platform, and researchers are exploring how virtual worlds can be used for everything from psychological studies to urban planning. The game has become a legitimate tool for professional applications, not just entertainment. Looking toward the future, Minecraft faces the challenge of staying relevant as new technologies emerge. Virtual reality versions of the game have been developed, allowing players to experience their creations in immersive 3D environments. Augmented reality experiments have explored bringing Minecraft elements into the real world through smartphone cameras and specialized glasses. The game's influence on other media continues to grow as well. The Minecraft movie, animated series, and books exploring the game's lore and universe have had a massive cultural impact. These expansions into other media help introduce Minecraft to new audiences while providing existing fans with new ways to engage with the universe they love. The story of Minecraft is ultimately a story about the power of creativity, community, and imagination. What began as one person's simple idea about digging and building has grown into a global phenomenon that has touched millions of lives. It has provided a creative outlet for artists, a learning tool for students, a social platform for friends, and a business opportunity for entrepreneurs. The game's success challenges many assumptions about what makes entertainment valuable. Minecraft has no traditional story, no cutting-edge graphics, and no predetermined objectives. Instead, it provides something more valuable: the freedom to create, explore, and share experiences with others. In a world increasingly dominated by passive consumption of entertainment, Minecraft stands as a testament to the joy of active creation. The technical achievement of Minecraft is remarkable, but its cultural impact is even more significant. The game has demonstrated that virtual worlds can be meaningful spaces for learning, socializing, and self-expression. It's shown that games can be tools for positive change, whether that's teaching children about history, helping individuals develop social skills, or bringing communities together around shared creative projects. As Minecraft approaches its 15th anniversary, it continues to evolve and adapt while maintaining the core principles that made it special in the first place. The game that began with Markus Persson's simple desire to dig caves and build structures has become a permanent part of digital culture, inspiring countless creators and providing joy to millions of players around the world. The legacy of Minecraft extends beyond any single game or platform. It's proven that with the right tools and the freedom to be creative, ordinary people can create extraordinary things. In classrooms and bedrooms, on servers and in videos, in competitions and collaborations, Minecraft continues to demonstrate the transformative power of giving people the means to build their dreams one block at a time. The story of Minecraft is still being written, with each new player who loads up a world for the first time, each creative builder who shares their latest project, and each teacher who uses the game to make learning more engaging. It's a story that belongs not to any single person or company, but to the entire community of players who've made Minecraft their own. In the end, perhaps that's the most remarkable thing about Minecraft's history. It's not just the story of a game, but the story of what happens when you give people the tools to create and the freedom to share their creations with the world. The blocks may be virtual, but the connections, learning, and joy they've facilitated are entirely real. Thanks for listening.